David Menzies for Rebel News here at Toronto's Pearson International Airport, and it's a Sunday evening. We're mere hours away from the new travel restrictions that are going to kick in at midnight. Those are the restrictions that are going to require arriving Canadians from international destinations to take the test and then quarantine at a hotel for up to 3 days at their expense, up to $2,000, while they await the results of the tests. But the reason why we're here tonight is, well, as you can see, there is a large lineup of people. We're told the lineup is 90 minutes long. It looks like the lineup at Canada's Wonderland to ride the Leviathan, because you still have to take the test, even though you don't have to stay at a hotel, apparently. And none other than Chris Sky is on this flight arriving from Istanbul to Toronto, and he told us ahead of time he's not taking a test. Let's just see how that goes.
Got my bags, and we're gonna go outside. We're gonna refuse their stupid test and tell everybody to refuse their stupid test. So, yeah. Hi.
Is there a reason you don't have your mask?
Yes, because I have a medical condition, so I don't need to wear one. And I'm also a Canadian citizen, and this is a violation of our Charter Rights, Section 6, and a violation of the Emergency Act 14.1. So I'm going to be declining your test today. Okay. Thank you very much. No problem. I'll happily do that. Everybody in here, if you are a Canadian citizen, simply deny the test, deny their quarantine, and there's nothing you can do. They cannot stop you. They cannot force you. You are a citizen. You have rights. If you want to wait in the line for 2 hours, let them push it up your nose. Go right ahead. But if you have a brain and you have balls, just say no.
Just let you know I have a body cam on.
That's fine. I have a camera on as well. So yes, everybody, this is what you do. You say no to their test, no to their quarantine, and if you're a citizen or a permanent resident, there's absolutely nothing they can do but acknowledge that you have rights and they have to respect that. Is that not true? Say it's true for the camera, everybody. Say it's true.
So you have some identification?
I do, of course. That's not a problem.
And you refuse to take the test?
I refuse to take your test 1,000,000%.
No problem.
And everybody in here, Canadian citizens, you can refuse the test. Just say no, don't wait in line, and there's nothing they can do. Okay, I will not yell, that's true. But I just want you guys to acknowledge for 91,000 people watching that anybody can refuse the test.
Yeah, and just give me your identification.
Perfect. Thank you. You guys hear that? Straight from the horse's mouth, straight from the police, refuse the test. Ooh, I'm getting a ticket. Oh, not another one of those tickets. You know, tell everybody how many people have been convicted of those tickets in Canada. Answer? 0. How many people have been charged? Thousands. How many people convicted? 0. Why? It's a violation of our charter rights. So when that ticket goes to court, they throw it the out. It's that simple. So I'm waiting for my little fine. Thanks, guys. I just want everybody to acknowledge that this is perfectly legal, perfectly acceptable. Thank you.
What's going on, guys? Oh, hey, Chris.
I gotta walk up. They want us to film outside.
Oh,
but
okay.
they're the most fantastic officers I've ever met.
Hi, guys. How you doing? Good.
No problems whatsoever. They completely acknowledged.
All right.
Hey guys.
Just wait from the door.
No problem.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Pleasure, guys. It was a pleasure
All right.
meeting you.
Take care.
Thank you for all your help. Bye.
See you later.
So, Chris, what happened? I mean, if you go down a few meters, there's a lineup. We were told 90 minutes long to get the test. Looked like a lineup to ride one of the roller coasters at Canada's Wonderland. And you said you're not taking the test, you're not wearing the mask, and you got an express exit out of the airport. Is that what happened?
It's that easy, everybody. I told everybody at baggage claim, I told everybody in the lineup, if you're a Canadian citizen or permanent resident, just simply say, I don't want to do the test. They acknowledged right away. You do not have to do the test. They pulled me right out of the lineup. They just asked me for my ID, and they gave me one of those fancy green tickets that they give you. And then you don't have to wait in a 90-minute line. You don't have to take a stupid test where they put something up your nose, and you don't have to worry about getting a positive result so they could throw you in a hotel quarantine. An older woman, her husband follows me on Instagram, has been following me for months. She was driving across the border from Niagara Falls, the land bridge. Her PCR test had expired by 3 hours. So they grabbed her at the border and they took her straight to the hotel. She's a little old lady. She didn't know what the hell to do. So her husband called me, and he was literally in tears. He didn't know what to do. And I'm like, give me her number. I'll tell her exactly what to say. You start driving over there right now, and by the time you get there, your wife will be outside waiting for you.
Well, Chris, just to get back to what happened to you tonight, it seemed that your express exit out of the airport came with a catch. You showed me a little ticket that you got. What is that ticket for? Is there a dollar amount, or is it just a summons?
Same as every other one of those stupid emergency order violations. When you do not comply with any one of their so-called emergency orders, you get that little $750 fine, $880 with the taxes. And
you want to go to trial, don't you?
Yeah. But they don't, and they only have three options: drop it, postpone it, or give me a trial. They won't give me a trial because I win. They won't drop it because they look like idiots. So they just keep postponing it. They are using nothing but fear and intimidation. That's what this whole COVID pandemic is about. First, they want you to be scared of a virus that's not dangerous. Then they want you to be so scared that you wear a mask, even two masks. Now they want you to be scared to travel. Why don't they want you to travel? Because they want you to think everywhere is like Canada, where everyone's afraid, everyone's wearing a mask, everyone's closing their business. I was just in Turkey. I went to the Grand Bazaar. I went to the mosque. I went everywhere mask free. No problem. No Uber asked me to wear a mask. No person in the store asked me to wear a mask. Over there, they realize that it's bullshit. If you go to a place like Mexico, people are partying. People are having a good time. This is the real reason they do not want Canadians to travel. Because if you travel to other places and see that COVID's not a big deal, you bring that knowledge back to Canada. And they want Canadians isolated. They want Canadians terrified. And they want Canadians doing exactly what they're told against their own best interests. Because the more you can get someone to do something that they know is not right, every time you do that to them, you've taken more and more of their self-respect, and you've made it more and more easy to manipulate them.
It's so baffling, Chris. You've gone to Turkey, you've gone to Mexico, and it's almost as though, I guess, if we follow the logic process here, the Wuhan virus has a problem with Canadians and will infect you unless you mask up, but it likes the Turks, it likes the Mexicans, it'll leave you alone there. I mean, I just don't understand this.
It's very easy to understand. It's called, it's not real. Yes, there's a virus. Yes, people are getting sick, but the hospitals are not overwhelmed, which is why they will not give you the data. There's roughly one COVID patient per ICU in Ontario. One per hospital on average. That's not overwhelmed by any means. It's no different than any other year. If you look at the total deaths from all causes in 2020, it's the same number of people died, including old people, that died in 2019, 2018. If you have a pandemic, you're going to see a spike in deaths. You're going to see 2020, 300,000 more people died than normal. No, that didn't happen. Why? Because more people are not dying. They're just calling other causes of death COVID deaths. If you die of heart attack, they call it a COVID death. You die of stroke, they call it a COVID death. You die of flu, they call it a COVID death. There has not been one flu death since 2020. How is that even possible? Why? Because they're lying to you. It's that simple, people. When something doesn't make sense, it's because they are lying to you.
And certainly when we drill down the numbers of who is dying, and to me, Chris, that is the only number that counts. The lion's share, I think the last time I checked, 83% of COVID deaths in Canada were elderly people, typically with a medical condition, at a long-term care facility. That is an astonishing number. If you're relatively young and relatively healthy, you have a 6 times higher chance of getting killed crossing the street here.
100%. And an even more scary statistic, 97% of all COVID deaths were people 60 plus. 60 plus. In the age bracket of 0 to 59, there have been less than 300 COVID deaths in all of Canada. Let's say that again. Less than 300 COVID deaths for anybody under age 60 in Canada. Does that sound like a pandemic to you?
Well, I know in Ontario, there's only been 2 deaths of the persons under 20, and both those individuals had complicating medical conditions like
First
leukemia.
Of all, that's spreading disinfo. Neither of those people died from COVID.
Oh.
Both of their deaths were completely unrelated to COVID.
Oh.
They simply tested positive for COVID. The second one,
I'll have to check that
you
then.
can check it out. The second one was a guy that worked at a long-term care facility. He was 19 years old. He tested positive for COVID. He recovered at home. He went back to work, and then he died 2 days later. Why? Because he was going to jail for a charge, and he overdosed on pills. So he had already recovered from COVID, went back to work, killed himself, and then they called it a death with COVID.
Well, there you have it, folks. Once again, Chris Sky, a.k.a. the, what do the police call you, a common nuisance?
Not these ones. These guys were really nice. They were asking me. I wish I kept recording because I only recorded the part where I was being like authoritarian and telling them I'm not taking the test. So I kind of looked like the bad guy. As soon as I stopped recording, those 3 police officers were the nicest police officers I've ever talked to. They were asking about my vacation. They were genuinely interested. Yeah, they were great people.
Well, a big shout out to the Peel Regional Police who were here.
We always got to back the blue. They're not in on this. When I stepped out and said I don't want to take the test, they actually smiled because they were like, "Wow, somebody with a brain and a set of balls. If only the rest of Canada was like that, maybe we wouldn't be in this mess."
So there you go, folks.
And I would like to say Instagram blocked me from going live for the first time in my life. I posted yesterday that I was going to be.
Why was that, by the way?
They didn't give a reason. They just said because I had done something that was against their community guidelines, they're not letting me go live. But I've been going live every day up until now, and the only time I've ever not been able to go live in my life is when I said I was going to go live from the airport and show everybody that you cannot take the tests.
Okay, well, there you have it, folks. We'll be back here tomorrow to see what happens, if it's going to be a matter of people being able to fly the friendly skies, or they're going to get a rude welcoming once they touch down in Pearson, i.e. a mandatory test and perhaps even a hotel stay. Just keep following us and we'll bring you all the goods. For Rebel News, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies.